So for today, I'm gonna be doing a podcast talking about an underdeveloped character that I have called Hank. Yes, very creative name, I know. Um, and what you need to know right now, I'm gonna be answering some questions later that go more in depth about ideas and what I kind of want to do for him. Because, again, underdeveloped character, there's not much right now. So the only thing that you really need to know right now that's kind of important is that he's a dad. He has a son named Jamie, and he has a best friend that's called Sasha. That's like either depending on how you view it, that that she's an adoptive mother or a stepmom. It really just depends on how you view it. Either way, she's still a mom to Jamie. So I'm gonna be answering a few different questions that I got and received. So that's nice, very handy dandy for me to really think about and develop him a little bit more since he doesn't get attention as much as my other ones, my other OCs do. The first question that I received is, does he have a backstory? And well, yes and no. He's not as well developed as many other OCs. But what I have so far is that he and Sasha knew each other during school, and they've been really good friends and always helped each other out with everything, basically. And there was an event that Sasha went through that Hank helped, which bonded them closer together, but only as friends. It's a very strict friendship with them. And a bit later, mainly in high school, uh, Hank became a teen parent and had Jamie. And he wasn't planning on that, but he still wanted the child, and so he took care of him. Though Jamie at the time went by a different name. Uh, and the bio mother of Jamie wasn't necessarily a good person, and later on became more, what's the word, abusive, and more dangerous as life went on. And Hank would always do their best to keep Jamie away, but due to his work, mainly being at jobs trying to get money for college, mainly to become a lawyer, um, it was very difficult. So Hank would often ask Sasha to babysit, and because Sasha could and understood the situation, she did. And eventually, that Sasha and Jamie developed a son and mother relationship. So that was good. That Jamie had a mothery figure that was a good influence on him. And Hank, now, still tries to be in Jamie's life, even though his job as a lawyer is difficult. But Hank does his best to be in his life and support him with whatever. Hank is just trying his best. That's just what I overly have so far. It's not much, but it's something at least. It's better than having no backstory. The second question that I got is, what was your inspiration for the character / design thus far? I'll talk about design. I'm gonna go with the character idea first. So for the character idea, I'm mainly inspired by my grandpa and my uncles and other dad figures in media, whether that be movies, shows, or cartoons, etc. I always like seeing the dads usually being supportive and very calm and very patient with their child. I think that's a really good thing for a father to be. And I'm mainly inspired by my grandpa and my uncles. Mainly grandpa, though. My grandpa is a huge influence on me, and I want Hank to have the same vibes like my grandpa, but obviously still very different. Just a small influence of real life stuff. And what I mean by that is that you can listen to the person for hours about how life was back then, but not in like a criticizing way, just like, oh, those childhood stories or these certain events that made them reflect and stuff like that. The stories that have morals and everything that you just wouldn't mind listening to, even though you hear them say it over and over again, retelling the same story because they truly enjoy it. and that they just want good for you. They just want you to be happy and just be supportive overall, and that will ramble for on and on and on. I also want it to be where not only do they ramble, but they always fall asleep while watching your favorite movies and or shows. I always found that a funny trait, but it feels like a dad thing, not gonna lie. And you wouldn't mind talking to them for hours on end, or just stay in complete silence and just be comfortable with them. I feel like that would always be a nice trait. For the character's design, however, it's a completely different story. And I like how the character idea is super sappy and super sweet and, you know, kind of wholesome here and there. The design-wise is a completely different story. I'm not joking. His design is mainly a joke, and his design is still in the works. I'm currently trying to change some things about it to make it more easy for me to draw and me to have fun with it. So the story of his quote-unquote design is that I was joking with one of my friends because my friends always constantly joke on saying how Sasha, the adoptive mother or stepmother, depending on how you view it, is a MILF character. And yeah, I can admit, yeah, she's a MILF. And now I always describe her as one. And I jokingly said to one of my friends, what if I made the bio dad a DILF? And due to peer pressure, I that's what I'm doing. So I'm doing that, but again, I'm keeping in mind of other things that is Hank, like being aware and being a supportive dad and what style he might have. So he'll look pretty normal. I'm still working on design kinks and everything, so nothing's fully planned out. And I just think the idea of a MILF character and a DILF character that don't have any relations to each other in the sense of like actually together is kind of funny, and Jamie has to deal with comments like that from friends and classmates, and I think that's funny, so I'm adding it. I am not sorry. This is what I do to my OCs all the time. But the next question that I got is, what does Hank's relationship with Jamie and Sasha look like? I'm gonna start with Jamie because it's Hank's son, because obviously. So, Hank and Jamie have a pretty good relationship. Hank is very supportive, as I said before, and does his best to spend time with him. Like movie nights mainly, and going out for dinner afterwards, and usually just chatting and kept catching each other up on things. Even when Jamie came out as trans, being from female to male, transgender, Hank was very supportive and always willing to use his proper name and pronouns, even though slipping up occasionally because he's still getting used to it. But he does his best. It may be difficult, but he tries. And Hank has always been very loving and very caring towards Jamie ever since, you know, when he was a baby. And because he wants him to be safe, especially if the biological mother is near, because he knows how she can be, which the biological mother does not have a name currently nor design, so I'm not going to answer any questions about it as of right now. And Jamie has no real ill feelings towards him. The only thing that he feels ill about, I guess, is that he wishes that he could spend more time with his dad, but understanding the situation and his job, he can't do much about it. But he does enjoy any time that they get to spend together and just ramble on for hours on end. Just the normal relationship, with its normal downs and everything like that. And with Hank and Sasha, as mentioned earlier, that they were friends at a pretty early age in life, and they've always hung out and worked together mainly. To go a little bit more in depth, Sasha went through a traumatic event that made her really paranoid and scared, and Hank helped her to get used to things again and help process some things. And later on, when he became a proper lawyer, he helped file a case because it was a very serious and touchy situation that made her in danger. So he helped file the case and get it sent off and for something to be done about it, which Sasha is forever grateful for, and does her best to repay him even though he rejects anything from her, even though Sasha is very loving and, wants to show her appreciation. But again, it's a very strict friendship with them. Sometimes business if Sasha needs a lawyer of some kind. But they're very good friends with no romantic attraction towards each other and just want Jamie to have a good life and be happy. The next question I got is, what is he passionate about? And these are also just kind of idea things that I'm gonna talk about. Nothing is set in stone yet. A lot of these things that I mentioned are not set in stone. They're mainly just kind of ideas that I have at the top of my head and things like that. I imagine that Hank is a pretty big movie buff and loves watching shows and movies and the kind that makes references basically 24/7 that no one understands. Wears a lot of clothing, has some weird geeky thing that people might not know. Feel like he definitely has a tattoo that relates to some show that is like his favorite thing and doesn't mind talking about it. And definitely, again, goes on movie dates with Jamie and just, watch a bunch of shows together because that's how they bond. I also mentioned he really likes cooking. I think he's a pretty good cook, and he makes nice meals and likes to try make new dishes and everything like that. That's how he shows his affection. He likes to give a nice little meal. He'll make a mean meatloaf to show his love. I also think he likes journaling, mainly for himself, to write down thoughts, opinions, and feelings about plans or different stuff. Doesn't really matter which one. So the last question that I have, it's more of a joke from a friend, but I'm answering it regardless because I need this audio to be longer, okay? Okay. The question that I've been given is, does he like Sonic? Well, no, in short. Doesn't like Sonic. Mainly just because I can't have Sonic or most things that I like in real life to be in my world because that's copyright infringement and I don't want to get sued. So I can't have that. I could make an off-brand thing, but even then, I don't imagine Hank being into that kind of game. I feel like if anything, if he was into games, it would be more into Candy Crush or something like that. I don't know. Or even, I don't know, something that relates to a show and or movie that he really likes.